Hey guys, it's Big Man of the Woods. I'm not normally here on a Monday night, but it's amazing to be here. And you know who I am. Do I need an introduction? I don't know. But the guy next to me, do you know who he is? Does anyone? Let's see in the chat. Does anyone know who the guy next to me on that camera is? Nice ringtone. Anyone know? Anyone know? All right. If you don't know, I'm gonna let the man himself introduce himself. Let's go.
Mark,
Come on,
hi.
man.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Carl Hankinson. I'm just about finishing saying I'm our new UK Chief Commissioner, but just 3 months in, so it still feels very fresh to me. Good to be with you tonight.
Excellent, cool. So Carl, it's you're the third
That's
UK.
right. Yeah, Wayne, then Tim, then me.
Awesome, and I've had a pleasure to meet all of you three. It's been awesome to be able to get you. So we've got a whole load of questions coming in.
Great.
But the first one, actually, we'll just start with Rachel because this is a great introduction. Rachel's asking, Carl, what's your scouting role before becoming the UK Chief Commissioner, and how long have you been involved in Scouts for?
Oh, Rachel, hi. It's good to be with us this evening. So I had two roles before I started this one, nationally and locally. Locally, I'd spent 2 years being county chair in our county. I've done a number of local roles before. That was county commissioner for 10 years, took a bit of a break. CC said, will I be county chair? Nationally, I was the lead volunteer for our work transforming volunteer experience. So responding to Skills for Life, you'll know we set up different programs, bunch of volunteers, bunch of staff colleagues together. I've been working on that for about 3 years. Previous to that, volunteered at UK Scouts since the late 90s. And I've been a volunteer for about 30 years. And I joined as a scout. I was never a cub, but I joined as a scout, then did Venture Scouts of that era. And then when I was 17, because in those days, those you'll know, remember, you could be an assistant scout leader. And my group scout leader said, look, we need someone to run the troop. So me and my mate got hoodwinked into running the troop, and the rest is history.
Oh man! So how did you kind of become? No, that's not the question. How did you know the role, the path that you were going to become the next UK Chief Commissioner? Was that something that you kind of planned, or you saw what Wayne and Tim was doing, and you thought, actually, I want a piece of that?
Do you know, I mean, more recently, yeah, you start thinking maybe I could do that. So I applied for the role. You'll know it's an open process. A number of people applied. So applied, went through a process, various stages, was appointed. But it's not something I've always held an ambition for. Yeah, it's just not. I mean, that's not Scouts. I mean, you do a few things and then you see another few roles before you and think, oh, maybe that looks interesting. Maybe I could do that. So probably what changed for me was, much as I'd volunteered nationally, I'd always been international and program and that sort of stuff. But then about 2010, I became a trustee, and you see a different side of Scouts, and worked alongside Wayne and Tim, actually, chaired our operations committee nationally. So got involved in all sorts of different things, and probably from then onwards thought maybe this is a role that I could do. But you always feel you're not good enough, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when the opportunity came along, thought I'd apply, and really pleased to be here.
So how does that fit in with your daytime job?
You know, it's tough, but it works. I work in banking, so full-time job. Married, 2 young children in bed at the moment on the floor below me in reception and nursery and primary school. So it's busy. So you need some flexibility. I mean, need some flexibility for Scouts, for our hobby, need some flexibility for work as well. Just means, like most of us on the call tonight, you just spend your life being busy, don't you? It's just a different type of spending your time doing Scout work.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Gustavo who's tuning in from Brazil. Thank you, Gustavo, for joining us.
Hey, awesome. Gustavo.
Right, another question coming in for you, Carl. What has been done to make scouting great for disabled young people? We seem to have a few, and support seems to scan, especially with neurodiverse young people.
Thanks for that. Well, firstly, thanks for the question. So Tom Milson, who leads our inclusion team, and also Joanna in the office, have got a whole range of work that we're now recommencing on inclusion. You'll remember that we've stopped lots of things as we've been going through COVID and through our pandemic. We've just been concentrating on the absolute necessaries. And making Scouts more accessible for young people and adults is part of the work that they're doing. And as you touch on there are different types of what you call disability, so accessibility for us. So some of that means that we've got to provide guidance. Some of that means that sometimes we've got to change our procedures to make them more flexible and accommodating. Sometimes I would say it's about giving our adult volunteers some confidence, because not everybody feels equipped to have the skills to offer a great program safely to young people that have got consideration. So we sometimes need to work through that. It's giving confidence to make sure that it works really well for young people and it's safe. So lots of different work, lots of different teams. But if you're listening live tonight and you've asked that question, we still need more help. So you'll always see from time to time requests from our inclusion team saying, can you help us? And have you got a specific set of skills?
Good question. Good answer. Max, hey, Mark is watching in from Malta.
Hi, Max. Hi, Mark.
Terry is here. He messaged me during the day. He wants to know, are you a port drinker or red wine drinker?
Oh, Terry, this will be a disaster because I'm neither. I don't drink alcohol. Can you believe that? Never have. Might be strange on around a campfire, but I'll tell you, it used to make me very popular with colleagues when
driving home. Are you a tea drinker then, Carl?
Yeah, I am. And coffee for that matter, but yeah, probably tea, really.
All right. Well, that brings on to my next question.
Okay, go for it.
I pre-warned you that some of these questions are random, yeah?
Fab.
All right, here we go. If you're making a cup of tea, what, using your Scout map reading skills, what would your tea be?
2D, definitely.
2D.
I mean, yeah, 4 A, B, and C and D does not qualify for 2. Who are these people? And A, you need to put the milk in. Hello, my wife drinks my wife drinks black tea, so she'd have that. But yeah, 2D for me.
No, my Scout leader, yeah, he's the same, black tea. And what's that about? All right, let's ask you one more random question. If you're making s'mores and roasting a marshmallow, which number?
Number 4.
Just lightly toasted.
Yeah. Number 4. Yeah, although it sometimes ends up number 8 because you sat around.
And then it takes off. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
Lee, we've already answered that. Carl works in banking.
Yeah, so I do banking, have done all my life, RBS, NatWest. Mainly my career has been working with businesses. So I work in commercial and corporate, lead a team of bankers, do some strategy stuff.
Cool. Andy's asking, Scouting is 114 years old this year. So what's your plans for the first 114 days as UK Chief Commissioner?
Andy, what a great question. 114 days rather than the usual 100 days. I love it. Absolutely love it. So listen, I'll tell you, there's a few things that are keeping me busy at the moment. Like I was in Scotland last weekend, trying to get around to see the county commissioners, area commissioners, regional commissioners right across the UK. So that's 11 different meetings. I've done 7, got 4 more. So by the middle of January, I've been right around the UK meeting people. Also, we're spending a lot of time with the UK leadership team to get our own headquarters team organised, our headquarters volunteers. So there's a lot that we can need to do there to make sure that we support you properly. Also, we're spending time in this first 100 days or so to make sure we set up our framework we need, because there's a lot of change coming. Lots of things we're doing that everybody asks for through Skills of Life strategy, and we need to, when they're ready, make sure we share them in a way that's welcomed and it doesn't feel too haphazard. So a lot of work for there. And, generally getting the message out that we need to lead well, we need to have some fun, and remember that young people need us more than ever. And I think that we can never stop sharing that messaging. Lead well, have some fun.
Absolutely, Scouting's about fun.
More than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. What about this one? What can we say about this photo?
Oh, no.
Handing over from Tim. Are you going to be continuing with the neon colours, Carl?
That's Tim's style, and he's great, and he carries it off so well. I don't carry it off quite as well, so we'll see what I end up wearing. But yeah, that was a great day, just at reunion at Gill on the Friday before the handover.
Another good day. Look at that first selfie with Bear. Look at that. We've got Matt and is that Maxine?
And that's Jenny.
Why did I say Maxine? Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny, our new chair.
Yeah. Absolutely. Is that the first selfie, or have you had a few selfies with Ben? That's the first official one?
No, first one. We met in London, actually. Bear's got a place in London as well. We met the week after handover just to go through stuff. Great fun, actually. I mean, his enthusiasm is infectious, isn't it? Any of you that met him will know that. It's just enthusiasm and infectious.
Did you have lunch at his house?
No. He, you remember he's talked about having a barge on the Thames. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
met him in the middle of the afternoon, spent a couple of hours with him there.
Oh, nice. Did he make you tea?
Yep.
What was his tea skills like?
Not bad. Twice. 2 brews. Oat milk. Very tasty.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Yeah, it was really good, actually. Pretty rich. Yeah, but he's healthy, so that's what he uses.
Yeah, right. Max is asking, Carl, what's your favorite scout badge and why? Oh, man.
Scouting badge and white. Max, I'm going to reveal a bit of history of me and then talk about now probably paddle sports, because I've enjoyed canoeing over the years. When I was a scout, if you're the same vintage as me, Advanced Scout Standard, what a great badge. Absolutely love the look of it and the contents of it. Look it up if you don't know what I was talking about. But that's when I was a scout way back when. Now paddle sports.
Nice. Paul's asking, are you a camper or a glamper?
Oh, I can do both, but I'm a camper. And I have to say, Paul, I'd rather sleep in a tent than indoors. I mean, have you shared a dormitory with some people? Goodness me, if you're like my mates and scouts, no, you're better off in a tent, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. What's your best piece of advice to give to a fellow scout leader? Good question.
Enjoy yourself. I mean, look, there's a serious side to what we do. We're responsible for other people's children. I mean, we know that, don't we? There is a serious side to what we do. But you know what? You've got to keep enjoying it along the way. It doesn't matter whether you're supporting adults, working with them, working down with young people. Got to remember to enjoy ourselves. That's what gives us the enthusiasm.
What would you tell someone who's lost that fire? That's just burnt out because of COVID's been horrendous to everyone's mental health, or even not just using COVID, but before they've struggled with politics, because there's no denying there's lots of politics in scouts. We've all been there, and you just think, actually, why am I doing this? I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid for this. I'm getting a whole load of XYZ. I want to quit.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I think you've got to try and enjoy yourselves. However, sometimes it's tough. That doesn't mean to say that we don't have difficult times. I've had difficult times in scouts where, you sort of wonder, don't you? You just stop and think, maybe I should do something else for my time. You know what motivates me? Just remembering the impact I've had on young people. When one of your ex-scouts writes something to you on Facebook or drops you a note, or says, look, thanks for that. And just reminding yourself of those times, because it's a huge motivation. And it could be an adult volunteer you've helped. I think you've just got to sometimes remember the good times and take a step back. And you know what? If we need a bit of a breath, catch a breath. Because, as you say, Mark, it's been tough. It's been really, really tough for us all at the moment. But I think the friendship,
absolutely,
in scouts carry through,
Absolutely. Right, you ready for this one? This is a good one, Carl. This is a good one. It's just coming from Emily. Hi, Carl. My cubs and beavers from the scout shop, and there is a 45-day wait. What are steps to be taken to rectify this, as our young people without uniform isn't good for our brand or perception? Awesome question, Emily.
It is a great question. And Emily, I'm at scout shops on Wednesday. I've got a day's holiday from work. I'm going to Lansing to see Scout Store and also our insurance business, Unity. Thomas emailed me last week, who runs Scout Store, to tell me that new stock has arrived. So that should satisfy the back orders. Emily, there's been a real delay with stock at Scout Store, just like there has been in lots of other high street shops where we see empty shelves through supply chain. So we've got exactly the same problem you see elsewhere. But the good news is that more stock has just arrived. There's more due at the beginning of December. So you should see that change now, Emily. We're really sorry that it's taken so much time for you, but hopefully we'll get there now.
Yeah, it's been tough, hasn't it? Yeah.
It has very much so.
Talking about uniforms, let's go to this one, which is about, is there an update on the Renew about buying all UK badges from China? # promise to the planet.
Yeah, Gail, there's two sides to this, I guess. So, I mean, again, thanks for the question. It's a great question. First, let's just talk about buying some of our uniform, whether it be badges or kit. There's always a review constantly of, can we do things in a more sustainable way? And also, we've got to balance off doing things in a more sustainable way with also the price point that people are prepared to pay, and also think of different ways of transport, because you'll know, # promise to the planet, that there is different carbon impact depending on the type of transport that we have. And that's something we need to think through as well. There is as well, separately, Gail, we announced on the All Members call a couple of weeks ago, we are going to begin again, because we stopped a lot of work because of COVID, we are going to begin again the review of what we wear. So we've reaffirmed we're going to be a uniformed organisation, but look at what we wear. And of course, part of that is, once as a movement we make that decision, we can also then think about the supply of whatever it is that we think that we want.
So if we're looking at a uniform, would us leaders, would we be part of that discussion?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, just what happens at UK level in Scouts, we have a number of staff colleagues that we work really closely with, but you'll find that the majority of all the work we've done is done by volunteers. So CJ, our Deputy UK Chief Commissioner for Support, is advertising a number of roles at the moment. Her old role of UK Commissioner for Perception, but also a role to lead the team on what we call What We Wear. So to lead this view. So we need this review. So we need a lead volunteer. That could be you. If you take a look on the volunteer vacancies on the website tonight, apply. That could be you. CJ's running the process as we speak, and also then pull together a wider team after that. And of course, it won't just be that small group of people that will be doing this separately. Part of the way we do things is ask our members what they think. So there's been plenty of occasions for you to contribute, and also our young people as well.
Nice, awesome. Thanks, Carl. Enjoy the trip to Lansing.
Emily, you're welcome. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, it's a fair journey, but I've been there before years ago, and it's just great to meet people, isn't it? It's just so good to meet people, and they do such a good job for us. Thanks for the question.
Cool. What's your funniest scouting memory?
Deborah, you're asking me that question on a live feed, thinking, can I say that, or can I say this, or can I say the other? Do you know, I'll tell you what they generally are, Deborah. They're on camp when I was a scout leader, or when I worked with explorers or venture scouts or scout network, because they're my sections, and things went wrong. I mean, not really wrong, but just didn't work out how you expected them to. That's what makes you laugh. I have to say, every time I think back to those trips, those camps, those international expeditions, it's when things didn't quite work out well. And I could think of all sorts on the international trips I've been, Vienna, Chile on the Jamboree. It just sort of goes on.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Nice. Awesome. All right. My question for you, Carl. If you could sit around a campfire for a few hours with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Right. Well, firstly, the cheesy answer, but this is sincere as well. BP would have to be around that campfire.
Okay.
I mean, how many people do you know through history have made such an impact on this world? Yeah. I mean, just can you imagine sitting there now and thinking, is this how you thought it would go? Look now, what's been achieved. So you'd have to be able to do something like that. I think that would be number one, really cheesy. After that, John Lennon.
Okay, nice. Not Bear. Oh, you're probably bored of Bear now, aren't you?
Oh, well. Yeah, well, do you know, you'd never get him sat around a campfire for a few hours. Yeah, he's got such enthusiasm. He would not sit there 10 minutes. He say, right, let's do something else now. Let's go and do something else.
Not campfire songs. He wouldn't.
No.
He's not a singer, is he?
No, he would not do that. He would not do that.
Angie's asking, what's your favorite thing to cook on a campfire?
Ange, bacon sandwiches are a bit of a guilty pleasure, aren't they? Don't you think? I mean, it doesn't take, look, I have to say, yeah, that definitely is the case. Also, though, Ange, have you made a camp oven? Because, I just think you can cook a great cake in a camp oven, can't you, on a campfire? So I love that as well. So I love that. The thing we never did really well, pizzas. I don't know if you can do it better.
This is the Dutch oven. In fact, I was just talking about this. To someone asked me, I think it was in a vlog I did. I actually talked about pizzas either on a Dutch oven. So most people put the pizza in here.
Yeah.
My good pal Terry. Huh?
Would you flip the lid? Use the lid?
Yeah, my good friend Terry told me to put the base on here.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Pizza base on there and then the lid over the top. That's his trick.
That is a really good idea. Because mine have always been a disaster. Probably because I shoved them in an oven and they never really work well.
The tinfoil oven's a great one, isn't it? We've done that quite a few times at Scouts.
Yeah, I've not done that for ages, actually. That reminds me. No,
and then use a disposable barbecue at the bottom. And it's great. Love it. Campfire, yeah.
Tell you what, though, just on that point, you never lose the enjoyment of people gathering around a fire and trying to cook things.
Yeah,
sometimes with our programs, you can be really clever, it can be really complicated, and we run some great programs. It's humbling, but just getting young people sat around doing something like that, doing it well, doing it safely. I mean, really, there's nothing better, is there, to create friendship?
No, exactly. And then they realize actually you don't need a mobile or the internet. You can sit around and chat. And
absolutely spot on.
Like we would have a plan of a rough idea what we can talk about, but stuff comes in, stories comes in, and Just sitting around the campfire. I'm away this weekend with my Bush Scout guys, and I'm really looking forward to that. Just sitting around the campfire.
I think once you've done that, and also I think when you're with scouts or explorers, then you have a bit, if it's an evening, have a wide game. I never understand people that go camping and watch a DVD, as back in the day or something like that.
Yeah.
Why? Get a wide game or a night hike. Get out.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask you this question. I forgot. White bread, brown bread for your bacon sandwich? I know why Max is asking this.
Well, Max, I'm really sorry to say neither. I mean, brown if I really had to. No, not red. And white I much prefer, but these days probably brown.
Where's Tim? Get Tim Kid back. Get Tim Kid back.
Would you have red sauce? Oh
yeah, no. Red sauce.
Really?
Red sauce on white bread.
White bread. Bacon does taste better on white bread.
Yeah, but don't tell my wife. Do not tell her. it's brown bread when we're at home. When we're camping, white bread.
Yeah, it's that I know where
she's probably going to storm through the shed door in a minute.
Come clambering in, say you never told me you had white bread.
Charlotte, you missed this. I asked Carl already, and I got the grid up. How do you like your tea? You're gonna have to rewind the vlog and find the answer.
Yeah, we've done strong.
What biscuit would you go with your tea? Oh.
Well, it has to be a chocolate hobnob, doesn't it?
Chocolate. All right.
Yeah.
That brings on.
Do we have any rich tea eaters with us tonight?
Rich tea. That brings very nicely to the question we asked Kester. Hang on. Let me get rid of this question. Let me get rid of that question. There we are. What is your biscuit of choice?
Well, it would have to be the Jammy Dodger. But it'd have to be the Jammy Dodger there because that's one that's got cream in it. So I know my Jammy Dodgers. So it would have to be that. Although Bourbons are pretty good as well.
Oh man, I love it. Bourbon's good.
What's that H one? Which one's that H one? I don't know what that is.
Oh, we were talking about that. I remember it. It's got a bit of jam with a bit of marshmallow on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Years. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And an fig roll. I do like a fig roll every now and then.
Yeah, our boys eat the party rings.
Nice.
I love them.
What is Scouting doing to support the refugee children? Is there something more we can do for them? Oh, good question, Lee.
Yeah, it is. And thank you very much for that. So we've got a number of groups across the UK that have already told us that in their local communities, they've made contacts with refugee children, some through council, some through local contacts in the community, faith groups or other community groups. And they're already offering them support. Some of that's activities, just make them feel welcome. And sometimes it's not just laid to the refugee children, but the refugees, the family, the wider family, just providing them with support. So, look, we would encourage anybody, whether you see that as part of your program, part of our awards, just because it's the right thing to do, make contact. And as we know with our youngsters in Scouts, it's really good for them to realise how much they have in common with people from elsewhere. We live on an island, and sometimes that can be tricky. So I think it's incredibly important we just keep reminding young people we've got a lot in common with everybody around the world.
Absolutely. Right, guys. Carl's only got a few more minutes. We've got about another 10 minutes or so with us. So if you've got some more burning questions, this is the best time to ask. You're never going to be able to ask Carl anything. Let's just not do Scout questions. Ask him. But not about banking. But I've got a question about my NatWest account.
Oh, right. Well, really? Really?
No. All right. Here's a bit of a political question. Asked from an anonymous Scout leader. She wants to ask about the makeup of the UK leadership team. I've wondered why is it so male dominated? I'm a little disappointed in that.
Yeah, look, I mean, firstly, thanks for asking the question. We're a little bit disappointed in that as well. Okay. And that's not to say, now I've said on the members' webinars, not to say I'm really proud of every individual in the team. They're all excellent. You should feel really well supported. We've got a really talented bunch of people. But as you point to, our UK leadership team does not reflect our membership. So, 45% of all our adult members are female, as an example. There's a gender imbalance. But there's also an imbalance as well from a diversity background. So we started with these open roles and recruiting the best people that we could find available at the time. And we've ended up with an imbalanced team. So just let me tell you what we're doing about that. the role that CJ's got at the moment, UK Commissioner for Perception, is a vacancy. And in January, we're going to have another vacancy because Ollie Wood's term as our youth commissioner, UK youth commissioner, finishes in September. So we're going to be advertising that. For both of those roles, you will see a form of words that says, look, we are an imbalanced team. And therefore, we particularly welcome applications from female applicants and also from candidates or applicants with a diverse background. And as part of the process, we're going out looking for people, not to appoint them. We're going out looking to people, say, have you thought of this? Would you like to apply? You could do really well with this role. So it's a challenge that we have, not just with the UK leadership team, but I think right across scouting, different areas. I'm traveling the UK and there's different challenges to make up of teams as well. Mark, can I just say as well that the danger and the criticism that we attract when we talk like this is that, well, you're not appointing the best person for the role, this tokenism, etc., etc. Let's be clear. Everybody that gets appointed to any role in Scouts must do so because they're the best person for that role. Meritocracy. None of us want to be in a role because we feel that we sort of contribute to some kind of target. However, I think when you're in a role where you create teams, you've not just got to think about whether people have met the threshold for the role when you're going through a process, but what's the best fit for the team. So I think I would always start with, do people meet the requirements of the role? And what you should aim to have is more than one candidate that does. And that then enables you to think about the person who's the best fit for the team to contribute for the skills you're looking for. Not because the team looks right, but because the team is right and you get better decisions. So I've talked a lot about that and I'm happy to take follow-up questions because it's something that we're really concerned about. But it's not just the UK leadership team, it's right across our volunteer teams at headquarters as well, because we have similar challenges there.
Okay, cool. Other than being a UK scout, where is the best place in the world to be a scout? Question from my 9-year-old cub.
Oh, Emily, well, your 9-year-old cub is asking great questions, which are really tricky. Do you know, I think there's loads of places. I mean, one thing what I would encourage with your cubs and indeed anybody that's here tonight is if you can travel a little bit or find ways of contacting scouts from abroad. One of the great benefits of this beautiful organisation we're part of and this movement is the scouts all around the world, and we've got something in common with them. And I think what you'll find is in different scout organisations, there's slightly different things that people concentrate on, whether that be service to the community, whether that be in venture, whether that be spending time together on camp and the fun, whether that be influencing the changes in the country. There's just loads of great places. Some of the best things I've ever done have been on international trips and jamborees, and still got plenty of contacts in different countries. So for your cubs, find a way of getting them connected with cubs and scouts from abroad. And do you know what? It'll change your view of the world, I think.
Nice. Lee's, there's a lot of questions from Lee tonight. Lee's asking, have you lost your woggle?
If you need to, do you know, if you want to send me one, you can. No, I've not lost my woggle. I've got 2 neckers. So, and where I'm from, they're a necker. You might call them a scarf. So put that on as well. But I have this one I have in a friendship knot, and I have another one of a woggle. So on Sunday, when I'm presenting some awards in Cheshire Scouts, some great volunteers, I'm in uniform. I'll be more formal in a woggle, but tonight, just a bit more informal.
Nice. When will the Explorer program be updated?
Barry, we have, again, when I was talking before about looking at what we wear, another piece of work, we've announced that we're going to start now. And Lewis is putting together a team, Lewis Dangerfield, our UK Commissioner for Programme, is to review Explorer Scouts and Scout Network. Barry, you'll probably know. I mean, they're 20 years old next year, those sections. It's incredible, isn't it? And for any of us that were around when this started, it does make you feel quite an age. But I think it's also fair to say that it's time that they're refreshed. And remember that we asked for that in our strategy. All our members said we want you to look at Explorers and networks. So that work is starting now. In the next few months, you should see us trying to put together a team. And similar to what I was saying with uniform review, you should find a way of getting involved, speaking up. There's lots of great Explorer scouting out there. There's great scout networks out there as well. But there's also an opportunity to refresh it and share that good practice. The other thing I'd just say, Barry, is in 2021, my suggestion is that the needs of young people, adolescents and young adults today is just a little bit different than it was 20 years ago. So as ever with Scouts, we continue to develop. you know, we have a good link to our heritage, to our values, to our principles, what scouting is. But we make sure the methods we use are applied to make sure that for young people today, we prepare them for their tomorrow, not our tomorrow from some time ago. So there's a real opportunity there, I think, to refresh those sections and grow our membership.
Awesome. Carl, last question for you, mate. Left a good one for you.
Do I feel that, just read this carefully, Emily, do I feel that goes against this? Emily, I don't actually. But what I would say to expand on that is that, look, one of the long-held desires also when I gave that response earlier is to make sure that we have a more diverse and more inclusive organisation, and also an IST. You know, Emily, I think that there will be lots of opportunity for people that have been on a jamboree or two before to have an opportunity to go to this jamboree. But I'm okay about us giving opportunities or prioritising them if there's a limited number of spaces to people that have never had that opportunity before. Yeah, I sort of think that's okay, that we give people a taste of a jamboree if they want that, their first experience. So I do think that's important. And I think that my debate, if we were sat around that campfire, Emily, with the marshmallows and the tea and the biscuits, would be when we talk about meritocracy, what is it we're looking for? Because if it's the most experienced, then people will never get their first opportunity to develop that experience.
Yeah.
So I think there's a debate about what we're looking for in different roles as well. But I'm just so chuffed you've asked the question as well, because, you know, part of the time tonight is people can ask questions they think are a bit more difficult they want an answer to, or an insight into what I think.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. All right, Carl, we're just coming up to half an hour. I know you've got to dash off to go and do another call. It's been a pleasure to have you here on Big Man in the Woods. If anyone wants to get hold of you and ask you questions or invite you down or something, how can they get hold of you?
Yeah, so carl.hankinson@scouts.org.uk is the best way. And then in terms of visiting, try our best. Big organisation. I work full time, so I'll try my very best to get there, or one of the team will. So we'll always try to do what we want. But carl.hankinson@scouts.org.uk is the best way to contact me, and I can always put you to the right person that can help you with a particular query if it's not me. Sometimes a lot of people know better than I do.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's always okay to admit that you don't know, but you'll ask someone to find the answer.
You're the team leader, but you've got great people in the teams. So
Delegation.
you'll always pass it across to someone else, say, look, you know this better than me. So what's the answer?
Yeah, absolutely. Emily, thank you very much. That's a lovely comment for Carl. Yeah.
Thanks, Emily.
Guys, once again, thank you very much. And if you want to review this, you can watch it again and listen to Carl's answers and stuff. Or you're thinking, actually, I've got another question to ask Carl. As he said, drop down his email and he'll get you an answer. It might take him a few days, but he will get you that answer.
Thanks, Mark. And just listen, everybody that's here tonight, besides thanks for joining us, thanks for what you're doing. You know, and if you're in a part of scouting that's not got back together face to face too much yet, find a way of doing that. COVID secure and make sure we consider our health. But, you know, let's bring people together and plan a great 2022. Like I said, young people need us now, but we need scouting as well. We enjoy it. So thanks for everything that you're doing.
Last question, Carl. What secrets can you tell us? Is there going to be is there a reunion going to be planned? What can you tell us that no one else knows?
What can I tell you that no one else knows?
You've got to have one juicy bit of information that you can release to us.
What can I tell you that no one else knows? Well, depends if you're on the all members calls or not. So, I mean, this could carry on forever. You know, we're replacing compass. You know that we've announced that already, and that there's a lot more to come in the way we volunteer. You know that we are doing a lot of work on race equity. That's really important to a lot of our members. We've got a national conference next year, Base Camp. We're going to have Summit 2023. We've not announced that. We've got some information coming up about Windsor and what Windsor will look like next year. We're thinking about how we value people, might have different ways of helping people that would just, yeah, we'll get in trouble for saying that.
No,
we'll get in trouble for saying that. No.
Just
different ways we might be able to help people grow, not just squirrels. Squirrels is brilliant. You know, we haven't mentioned this tonight. It's just fantastic. But listen, there's lots of other parts of Scouts that need some help as well. So we've got some opportunities to help people next year as well that you might hear more about.
Lovely. Carl, once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for all those questions, people sending us in questions. We'll drop Carl's email in the details below. Excellent. One more question, Carl. Sorry.
Go for it.
My good friend Colin's asking, any Gilwell events in planning? Winter camp, fun days?
Yeah, Colin, they are in planning, but I think your question is probably, are we going to have them and are they going to be announced? And we'll hear more in the next few weeks. So that conflict between, do we feel confident enough to run them? You know, have we got the capacity? Partly, Colin, the delays because we're just rebuilding our teams because, as you know, we furloughed a number of people through lockdown, and our priority at the moment has been to restart and open the centres. But you'll hear more of that. What I can tell you, Colin, is that we want those events back. You know, this is not an opportunity to not repeat them. So winter camp, fun days, reunion next year, lots of other things that we do. We want them all back.
Awesome. Carl, once again, for probably about the 10th time, thank you very much. And
You're welcome.
Hopefully we'll get a chat around the campfire at Gilwell Reunion.
Oh, that would be fab. I'm looking forward to it. And if you're here tonight and you are at reunion, do come up and say hello and say, I saw you on the Big Man in the Woods interview. I mean, it's just good to meet people. So, you know, please come up and say hello.
Cool. Thanks, Vince. Carl, I had that question a few times. Awesome. Colin, cool. Carl, thanks very much and speak to you soon, mate. Take care.
Cheers. All the best.